Howdy folks, and welcome to another Taste of Gameplay video, this time for the British Tier 5 Premium Battleship, the Agincourt. As always, these videos are designed to give you a sample of the gameplay of the ship, not to be an exhaustive analysis. I recommend the Wargaming Wiki or other content creators. So, first of all, I have a confession to make about the Agincourt, which is when making these videos, partially because I don't have time, and partially because I want to give you an honest impression of the ship, I really try not to cherry pick games. So usually I play one game, and most of the time I post that game. A few times it's really not a good game, like it's a blowout. So I play one more game, and pretty much always I post that game. But not with the Agincourt. I've played 3 or maybe 4 games over the last week or so in the Agincourt, and they've all just been terrible. I honestly just don't think this is a very good ship. But earlier today, I played the Schlieffen, and there's some obvious similarities between the Agincourt and the Schlieffen. So I figured, you know what? I'll give it another try. And this time, I'm just going to push. I'm just going to go 100% aggressive. I normally try not to do that in these videos because usually with most ships, that's not a great way for you to see the ship in action. It usually means the game is over quickly, and you just don't get to see much of what the ship is about. Well, this one is going to be over somewhat quickly for me, but you will get a sense of what the Agincourt's about, and it's the best game I've maybe ever had in the Agincourt. I'm going to do about 120,000 damage. The Agincourt has a lot of downsides and then one big upside, and you can probably already guess, or maybe you already know what the upside is, which is it has amazing secondaries, especially for its tier. They are incredibly powerful. They go reasonably far for the tier. You can spec them out to 8.3, which would not be very far at tier 10, but is pretty far at tier 5. And they can do a lot of damage. They have really good pen, and they set an awful lot of fires. And that's it. That is the entire ship. It is slow. It has one of the worst rudder shifts at the entire tier. The main guns, it gets a lot of them, but they're really scattershot. The dispersion is bad. The pen is not great. The HE, again, has a really high fire chance, but not a lot else going for it. It does mediocre damage. It doesn't have particularly great pen. It doesn't have torpedoes. It doesn't have any gimmicks. The heel is just like a bare bones bog standard heel. There's just nothing interesting about this ship except for this enormous array of secondaries. So it's one of those rare instances where, like, if you don't get within 8.3 kilometers of people, you're just not doing any good. It kind of reminds me, it's somewhere in between the Schlieffen and the Mikasa. I wouldn't say it's quite as extreme as the Mikasa, but it's in that direction. Like, you basically just have to get the secondaries firing pretty much at all costs, which means a lot of games in the Agincourt, you're just going to try to push, fail, get caught out, get burned down, and die, which is what happened to me in a bunch of my sample games. Luckily in this one, partially it's this map, right? This map provides this like little Agincourt space in the middle to just like hang out in. And then also a bunch of people are going to push into me, and they're going to push one at a time. However, there is a submarine, and then more importantly, especially for the Agincourt, there's an aircraft carrier. So one of the huge problems with the Agincourt is it has literally no AA. I don't mean it has bad AA. I mean it literally has none. So I'll just let that sink in for a minute. It literally has no AA, and it will often be in tier 6 games with an aircraft carrier. And you can imagine any aircraft carrier captain worth his salt knows that the Agincourt has no AA. So here come the torpedoes from the Ranger, and guess what? He's just going to keep doing that over and over again. And there is precisely nothing I can do about it. So do I recommend you pick up the Agincourt? No. No, honestly, I don't. You know, I guess it's like the Mikasa. See, here's the thing about the Schlieffen, right? And I just played the Schlieffen earlier today, and you can watch that game. The Schlieffen actually has a lot going for it other than the secondaries. Everybody likes to focus on the secondaries and talk about the secondaries, and they are really good. But the Schlieffen has pretty good main guns. They're certainly serviceable. It has a high top speed. It has okay anti-air. It's got torpedoes. So, I mean, the Schlieffen is an all-around good battleship that happens to heavily slant towards secondaries. The Agincourt is literally just a floating box with secondaries. Zero AA, zero torpedoes, zero smoke, zero radar, zero hydro, zero anything. It's just keep those secondaries firing. And even the secondaries, like I said, they do good damage, and they do, but really, as with most secondaries, you're aiming for fires. The way to make the Agincourt work, in as much as you can make it work, is to just concentrate on setting as many fires as you can. I've already set 9 fires. Like I said, I'm going to do close to 120,000 damage in this game. 38 of it, it's going to be almost exactly a third. A third main battery, a third direct damage from the secondaries, and a third fires. 40k fires, 40k secondaries, 40k main guns. And the key to the secondaries and the fires and the main guns is fire HE basically all the time, essentially because you want fires, and just keep setting fires. Hope that they damage control the first fire, which of course many people will, especially at these tiers, and then just set as many fires as you can. I mean, just keep them cards and letters coming, as they used to say. keep them fires coming. And just hope people do exactly this. Give you some place to sit. You don't get too much focus from the aircraft carrier because, again, there's nothing you can do about it. And they just push into you one at a time. Yeah, I mean, as if aircraft carriers weren't frustrating enough. Like, to have to sit here and just let him hit me over and over again. I don't think I'd play a lot of Agincourt just for that reason, because it's so frustrating to have aircraft carriers just... I mean, of course, I understand most Tier 5 battleships don't have very good AA anyway, but, I mean, come on, give me something. Just give me the captain up on deck with a, 9mm revolver or whatever, just like plugging away at some biplane up overhead. The Agincourt is nothing, literally nothing, not figuratively nothing, literally nothing. You can't even turn the AA off. I actually was confused the first time I drove the Agincourt. I was like, how do I turn my AA off? And it's like, yeah. Oh, it's one of the only ships in the game. Even most of the tier 1 cruisers have some AA, some vestigial anti-aircraft. I don't know if the Agincourt's always been that way since the moment it was released. I don't know if that's a historical fact that the Agincourt was just from a time. I think the Agincourt's a real ship, and maybe it was just from an era where there were no planes yet, and they're just trying to model that in the game. But I mean, from a game design perspective, it just doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I'm really kind of glad I got this good game in the Agincourt so I could show you guys what the ship can do when you get the perfect set of circumstances. But also, to be clear, this game is a little bit cherry-picked, right? I played at least 3 miserable games before I got this one. So just be aware of that. The Schlieffen is fun because it's got a lot of other things going for it. The Mikasa is fun because you're usually just fighting bots, and you honestly can just do a ton of damage, and you hardly ever have to pay for your sins, so to speak. But the Agincourt is in this kind of middle zone, and not in a good way, where you're fighting real players, and man, they will just tear you a new one. It's a ship with way too many downsides. So, but it is fun when they're all... Well, I mean, secondaries can be fun when they're just going to town, man. I mean, they're just hauling off, setting fires left and right and doing damage. I get it. I get why that's fun. And, of course, as always, as I said with the Schlieffen, for things like co-op, I mean, this could be really fun. Not as much operations and such because you can't play Tier 5s in operations. So, if you have the Agincourt, I'm not telling you not to have fun in her. I mean... this is about the best you're going to do in an Agincourt is this game. And it's not representative of my normal game in an Agincourt. So that's going to be it for this one. And I'll see you guys in the next video.